Welcome to Hot Chips 2023. Opening remarks.
Welcome to Hot Chips 2023. My name is Gabriel Southern. I'm the general chair this year, and on behalf of the entire organizing committee, welcome to our first virtual Hot Chips, or I'm sorry, our first hybrid Hot Chips. So this is the 35th Hot Chips conference, and we decided to kind of switch the naming. A lot of times we'd been Hot Chips 1, 2, 3, all the way to 34. Confuses some people, so we said let's call it Hot Chips 2023 because people called it various different things. Now there's still some people who will say Hot Chips 35 or HC35, but in general look for Hot Chips 2023, and maybe next year it'll be more straightforward. This is the first in-person Hot Chips in 4 years. So 4 years ago we were at Memorial Auditorium, then we had to take a break and do virtual, which I think went quite well, and now we're back in person. But we also, there were a few things. One, we weren't able to get in Memod, so we're here in this new for Hot Chips auditorium, Dinkelspiel. It's a beautiful auditorium, but it's a little bit smaller than Memod, so we can't fit as many people in. We're limited to 500 people that we sold seats for, and the conference in-person part is totally sold out. So when you're coming in here and sitting in the auditorium, be a little closer than you were in Memod. Just make sure you can get everyone in, and hopefully enjoy that. Meanwhile, we continued the virtual, the live stream. So there's about 2/3 of our registered attendees are watching online. And we, are trying to combine the best of what we did with a virtual conference with the in-person. So that's pretty much the mix. We also added a special kind of option to make the conference more available to more people, and we have a $5 registration for students in what we say developing countries. So hopefully that'll go well as well. And we have quite a few sponsors that help make this possible, so thank you to all the sponsors. So viewing the sessions, if you're watching this, you're viewing it. Obviously you can be watching live in person here in the auditorium. We also have a few monitors outside that you can watch on there if you want. If you're watching the live stream right now, you're watching it live on the live stream. We also will have everything recorded. Quick note about the live stream, it's about a 60-second delay between what's happening in real time here and what you'll see on the web. And then for watching the replay, it gets segmented by the breaks. So we'll run the live stream, then we'll stop it during the break, and that's when, if you go and look on the kind of list of sessions in the recording, if you're watching it later, you can pick different ones there. So Q&A is a very important part of Hot Chips, and we have Q&A after each talk, so you can interact with the speakers and ask them about the material they presented. We have here in the auditorium, we have 2 microphones, one in that aisle and one in that aisle over there. And then we also have someone sitting down here in the front who will take questions from Slack. So we're kind of trying to aim for 1/3 of the questions coming off of Slack and 2/3 for the people in the auditorium. So we'll be rotating through the microphones. So if you're standing at a microphone, maybe there's not that many people there and you're the only one at the mic, don't just assume that the next person should be from the mic, because there may be a bunch of questions queued up on Slack that we want to get. So speaking of Slack, it's HC2023.slack.com. In your registration email, there's a link you can click to sign up with it, to join the workspace. The link's in the credentials email. Basically, the way we have it structured, there's a ton of channels. We have 1 channel per talk. Use that channel to ask technical questions. And then we also have a few other channels for announcements. If you have problems with the live stream, or you have other issues you're concerned about, use this A2 help channel. Say, hey, I can't access the slides, or the audio's not working. Various things. Post that there. Please don't post that in the channel related to the talk, because we want to keep those for technical questions. One of the reasons being we're hoping that if we don't cover all the questions here in person during the the 5-minute Q&A time, that the speakers will have time afterwards to go and interact more on Slack, just like they may do with people out in the breaks. So hopefully that'll work well. On Slack, please set your display name to be your full name and your affiliation. And likewise, when you're asking a question here in the audience, just state your name and affiliation. We're running a script on Slack to try to set that up, but it's not perfect. So yeah, in case you have issues, you can also change your display name yourself. So Wi-Fi here at Stanford, that's probably important to everyone in the auditorium. I'm not going to talk through all these steps, but basically you can access these slides. There's also, it's on our FAQ. If you can't get on the Wi-Fi directly, pull it up on your phone with your 5G or whatever. Figure out those steps. It's not that hard, but it's basically you join the Stanford SSID, and then it'll take you to something. You say you're a sponsored wireless guest and put in the password there. It's a little confusing though if you haven't done it before. So getting to the auditorium, the parking lot is a little far away. That's the only one we can get, the Galvez parking lot. So the walk, maybe 20 minutes. I think it's a nice walk. I did it this morning. But we also have shuttle buses that run at various points in time. So the schedule, again, is posted on the website. And then Stanford runs a different shuttle bus. So we have supplemental shuttle buses in the morning and the evening. And then there's a separate shuttle that Stanford runs kind of all the time. So you can take either one. The shuttle bus that Hot Chips is running is a little more direct. It's like maybe a 10-minute shuttle ride. So for the breaks, we have obviously breaks in between the sessions. We have lunch and we have a reception. So the breaks are just out to the side there. Probably most of you had breakfast. The breaks will be in the same area. We have the posters sessions. The posters will be set up there right next to the breaks, and we also have a bunch of sponsors who have tables set up and will have interesting material on display. One other thing to note about the breaks is here in this auditorium, the bathrooms are very, very small, but there's kind of on the other side of the courtyard in Tressiter, there's behind the Jamba Juice, there's more bathrooms there. So if it looks like there's a line at bathrooms here, recommend going across the courtyard. And that wraps up all I have to say. So again, thanks to our sponsors, thanks to all of you, and I'll turn it over to Heiner to talk about the program.
Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to day one of Hot Chips 2023. My name is Heiner Litz from UC Santa Cruz, and next to me is Natalia Vassilieva from Cerebras, and we are the two program chairs for this year's conference. So I think we put together a great program with an exciting lineup, of course. It was not only the two of us, but we had a great program committee that solicited and reviewed all the presentations that we are going to see today. So every one of them did a great work, so thanks to everyone on that list here. Couple brief words about the tutorials that we had yesterday, which hopefully most of you attended. We had one tutorial chaired by Tom, and that was on ML inference. We had 5 talks, starting with an overview on ML inference, and then 4 additional sessions that went into several of the details that told us how to make ML inference work at high efficiency in deployment. And then in the afternoon we had a tutorial on chiplets and UCI, a great turnout again, 5 talks, and that session was chaired by Devendra. So thank you for everyone that participated in that tutorial. They are of course recorded and online, so if you haven't been able to attend them yesterday and if you want to check them out, just visit our website. Okay, and then we have, besides our great program, two exciting keynotes coming up. The first one today, right after this introduction, will be given by Jeff Dean and Amin Vadat, both Google fellows, and they're going to tell us about what Google's plans are in the area of ML and AI in the next upcoming years and how that will affect and impact hardware and systems. And then tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have Bill Daly from NVIDIA, and he'll give us his view on machine learning and the hardware required to make it all work. And with that, I'll hand over to Natalia.
Morning, everyone. Welcome once again. So besides tutorial and keynotes and tutorials, let me give you also a high-level overview of what the rest of the program looks like. So this year we received quite a large number of submissions for this conference. I've been serving at Hot Chips PC for several years, and I think this is close to our record number of submissions. It was quite challenging to select talks. So we selected talks in 2 nominations. We have 24 accepted as oral presentations, and you will hear those talks throughout today and tomorrow. And we also selected 10 papers as posters. We're also doing something different for posters this year. I'll talk about that in a minute. In terms of sessions, we have 4 sessions each day. 4 sessions today, 4 sessions tomorrow, and you see titles of those sessions on the screen. In terms of posters, so a different thing which we are doing this year, in addition to just showing the posters outside, you can talk to poster authors during the coffee breaks, we also decided to give them an ability to pitch their work. And tomorrow in the morning, before the first keynote at 8:30 a.m., we will have a poster lightning session. So every poster paper will have 2 minutes to pitch to you their work. Hopefully, they will get to interest you, and then you will come with much more questions to them in the poster session later. So please come and listen to them. Here's the high-level view of the program. Tutorials yesterday has already passed, but we have a packed agenda for both today and tomorrow. Hopefully it will be very interesting. You see the structure of the schedule is almost the same, so it's easier to follow. So we start our day with the registration and breakfast. Today with the opening remarks. Tomorrow we'll have a lightning talk session in the morning, followed up by our keynotes. Then we'll have session, coffee break, another session, lunch, and 2 sessions in the afternoon. Tonight we also have reception. The reception will be at the same place where we are serving lunch. So please join us for networking and to discuss whatever you heard during today's sessions. And with that, welcome to the Hot Chips.
I'm Alan Smith. I chair the conference steering committee. One of our traditions is when we have a major member of the Hot Chips community and they die, we usually give a short memorial. Recently, we had one for Bob Stewart, who was the conference founder. This spring in May, Howard Sachs died. He was involved with the conference for many years on the program committee and the steering committee. You may know him, well, he retired quite a while ago. He retired in 2009. So those of you that are of the earlier generation may remember him. He was the principal architect of the Clipper microprocessor, which is one of the profusion of 32-bit microprocessors in the late 1980s, along with the Intel 486, Pentium, National 32000, the MIPS processor, the SPARC, the Motorola 88K. So Clipper was developed at Fairchild, and then that division was sold to briefly to National, and then was bought by Intergraph, which was the major customer for Clipper, which then did a couple of generations of Clipper before switching to x86. So Howard was the principal architect. He was also the general manager of that operation. And historically, he's had a number of executive roles. He was the vice president at Cray. He was the vice president as a director at National Semi. He was a vice president at Sun. He was at Intergraph. He was general manager and executive vice president. looking at his list here, it's quite extensive. And he was, most recently, he founded a company in 2001 called Telarity, which did H.264 compression, and they managed to, they had a good customer in one of the TV companies, which I'm looking for here and can't remember. Anyway, so we just wanted to remember Howard, and that's him. And here's a list of some of his activities, and he will be missed. Anyway, thank you much. We will try to resume promptly at 11:30. Thank you.